What up, y'all? What's up, my music notes? We're back again this time with another video, and on um, this one's gonna be about distributors. It's gonna be another tip for beginners and people who are just starting out. Um, so it's gonna be kind of like a multiple all-in-one video. All right, so here on screen we have a list of preferred distributors for artists. They say for artists because that's mostly what they focus on. They mostly focus on, I mean, like, how can I put this? When you're in the music industry and you're making music, you're not the person on front. You just have to take that as it is. If you're a person that's making music, you're not important. It sucks, but it's the truth. You know, us people who make music, we're seen as the people in the background, whereas the person who's the vocalist, the singer, they're put in the front. You know, so it is what it is. So mostly everything's derived towards helping the artist get their stuff out there. And that's where most of the protections are. But musicians, songwriters, producers, composers, you know, we have protection too. It's just a little different. Anyway, so this comes from Spotify. If you want this list, it'll be in the description below. But they have a preferred list that they prefer people, a preferred list of people that they do business with on a preferred level. So DistroKid is on that list. CD Baby, I've covered them multiple times. MU Bands, we don't know. Record Union, Vidia, iGroove. Okay, so as far as distributors go, what they do is they distribute your music on your behalf. So what that means is if you go to them with your music, and this is really what this topic is all about. If you go to them with your music, let's say, and you want your music to be on Spotify, right? Okay, so you gotta keep in mind that they are a legal service provider. I think that's the best way I can put it. They are a legal service provider. They are a company. They are a business, and they are going to represent you for protection. Okay, keep that in mind. Protection, right? Okay, so to protect you and your music, they need things from you. All right, so let's say you're in a car accident. This is the best example I can give you. You're in a car accident. All right, you get out of that car accident, you're a-okay, you're fine. You got like some aches and pains here and there, but you need to seek the help of a lawyer, right? Okay, so you need to seek the help of a lawyer. Do you walk into the first law firm that you find, sit down and go, I was in a car accident, and chill? And they're going to represent you in court whenever the court case comes up? No, that's not going to happen. That's not how it works. What happens is you go in there, you speak with somebody, they see what happened, they get your side of the story, they see if they can represent you. You know, you fill out some paperwork. If everything goes well, they take everything from there, right? That's how music works. That's how these distributors work. Okay, and this isn't the full list of distributors out there. I mean, there are other ones like 1RPM and iMuse and other places. But as far as these distributors go, they are legally representing you in the music industry. They are putting your music out into stores. So if you are using them for their services, don't expect to just upload music to them and walk away from it and everything be fine. That's the same thing as walking into the law firm and saying, I was in a car accident, and then waiting for stuff to happen, waiting for you to collect a check or something. That's not going to happen. You have to go through things. So when it comes to uploading music, you need to make sure that your music does not have samples. I just did a video on that. That's where this video came from, is from that previous video. Do not use samples. That is sampled music. That is sampled audio. That is, everything but drums is okay. Well, not okay. Sorry. Reverse that. Only drums don't matter. And there is a lawsuit about that you can look up that happened a long time ago. There was a drummer who was in a band for a very hit artist by the name of James Brown. And the drummer made pretty much all the drums that we consider hip hop today. They sampled his drums from all his music, and one day he tried to fight for his royalties because he felt like he was owed money for pretty much creating hip hop. I mean, his drums are pretty much the front runner for everything that is hip hop and rap. And the judge ruled no, because drums are too simple to be copywritten and stuff like that. So, I mean, you can look up the case yourself, but borderline was the judge said, no, unfortunately, you cannot get any music for your drums because drums are way too simplified. They don't have extensive amount of variety to their sound, pretty much. So like with a piano, even though, let's say, 88 keys on a piano, there's still 88 keys of different sounds that you can make in different patterns. With drums, you can't really make that many different sounds and patterns because it's a drum. It's a simple instrument. So everything but drums can be copywritten. So you need to make sure you're not using copywritten sounds, music, instruments, chords, riffs, vocals, etc. You need to make sure you're not using it. And that previous video, if you're just seeing this video, go to that previous video and check out why. These distributors will try to defend you as best as they can. And that's the whole point of using them and their services. They are going to try to protect you. Okay? So if you come at them with a bunch of sampled music from other people, or let's say you sampled some Michael Jackson and you're like, yeah, I really like Michael Jackson's voice, I really like these drums, and I'm gonna pull these violins from somewhere else. Nah, you can't do that. Can't do that. Because you're stealing music that has already been protected. You're pretty much just going, this music is protected, well, if I use like 2 seconds of it and loop it over and over and over, then that's not the whole sampled song. That's not how it works. So they're going to try to protect you as best they can. If you upload music with them and they reject it, or they have a problem with it, or they don't upload it, contact them. That's what they're there for. They're your legal guardians in the music industry. Get as much information from them as possible. That's what they're there for. Don't freak out when your stuff gets rejected, or if they don't upload your stuff immediately. Contact their support. Find out, hey, what's going on? I uploaded music with you guys and nothing happened. Can I get some more information? What they'll do is they'll send you the information because they're expecting you to know this stuff already. So when you get the information from them, read it, see what you can do, start making plans, start making changes. There are a lot of things that need to go on. Like CD Baby is my personal preferred distributor. I love them. They've been good to me this whole time. And if I have a question, they have an answer. Simple. That's how it is. You just ask them a question. Hey, do I need to have my music published for royalties? They'll say yes. That's why they offer those services. They'll tell you need a publisher's account with us if you want to receive your royalties from around the world. That's how it works. Royalties, okay? Most of you think that you're getting royalties all the time. You're not. I want to rip that Band-Aid off right now. You're not. When you upload music, the first thing you get are sales, initial sales. Companies like Spotify do not pay you in royalties. They pay you in sales. They consider every time someone with a free account listens to your song once, that was one sale. So that way they don't owe you any extra. They don't owe you royalties. They're not paying you royalties. They're paying you in sales. You get royalties from live performances or playlists. And there's more to it than that. It's not that simplified, but just to get it clear through your head, there's a difference between initial sales and royalties. Okay, and if you want your royalties, you got to have a publishing account, and that includes with 1RPM and stuff like that. So publishing, the way you get that done is you sign up with one of the big copyright companies like BMI or ASCAP, etc., etc. ASCAP, ASCAP, or BMI. They are in the United States. They are called PROs. PROs are performing rights organizations. So every time your song is performed, remember how I said earlier, the music industry is mostly tailored toward vocalists and singers and stuff. So every time you perform on stage, you sing, you out there with the crowd and all that, or you go to a lounge, or anytime you perform live, you have performing rights, and you need to be paid if those performances are recorded, or if that company allowed you to be up there. They need to pay for that. They do if they plan on showing it at any other time. Let's say you go to your local bar and you perform. You talk to the owner, you do a performance one night, and they record it, and they want to show it only in their bar, like on a TV screen somewhere of like previous performers. Every time they show your performance, they got to pay you for it. That's a performance. You need to get paid for that. Okay, so if you don't live in the United States, it's called a CMO, Copyright Monetization Organization, or something like that. But anyway, it's a copyright organization that does the same thing as a PRO. They're just called CMOs. So a PRO and a CMO are the same thing. Just CMOs are outside of the United States. So if you live outside of the US, look up your local CMO and see how you can get yourself your royalties, because that counts for in your country, in other countries, and in the United States. You can also sign up with a PRO like ASCAP or BMI. BMI is free. ASCAP costs, I think, $50 or $100. You have to check that. BMI is free, but you can only be with one. You can only be with one. You cannot be with multiples, okay? So you can't be with your CMO in the Philippines and then be with BMI in the United States. You can't do that. They all share the same information across the board. They all share the same ID numbers. So if you release music, I forgot what it was called that quick. Anyway, but when you release music, it comes with an ID number or a serial number that's attached to it. I think it's called a SR. No, that's something else. Anyway, there's a number on each one of your tracks. You can look it up. That number is shared across the music industry. So it doesn't matter if you're with, let's say, DistroKid. And this is an example for most of you that have been asking this question too. Let's say you were with DistroKid and you don't want to be with DistroKid anymore. And you're in France. And you're like, you know what? I want to be with CD Baby instead. You don't have to remove all your music from DistroKid and then re-upload it with CD Baby. No, there's a number that comes with your track and your album. You just take that number, you put it into CD Baby, and CD Baby goes, oh, we see this track has already been used by this distribution company. Do you want to redistribute it with us? And you redistribute it with them. You're going to lose all your plays. So let's say you got 300,000 plays on Spotify, you're going to go down to 0 when you re-release it, because you're re-releasing it with another company. So be wary of that. But that's how it works. So you can either be with a PRO or you can be with a CMO. And that's how you get your royalties from around the world, because royalties are what you're owed. Even as sales in other countries, it's still considered royalties when it's coming back to you internationally. Don't know why. There's more on that. There's another person I can send you to that can answer all those questions. And that's a legal headache that I cannot answer right now. And this video is already 15 minutes. So, all right, what else do you have as an option? Other than distributors, you have your label distributors. So let's say you're big enough, and if you're thinking label, oh, label, yes, label. You can sign up with a label. So a label is a big name company, a big group, an organization where they handle multiple clients, from art to music to video to animation, all that stuff. So you're pretty much in a house. That's the best way to put it. You're like in a digital house of people that can handle all your needs. So with labels, if you need album art, they can have one of their other contracted artists who does digital art or graphic design and make you an album art, right? It might come at a fee because, you know, you're working with another person, but they have someone that they can be like, hey, you need album art? This person needs their artwork out there. You guys are under our label. Let's put you together and work on something. If they get bigger, if it's a bigger label, they'll just have that person make it and they'll pay them themselves. Sometimes you have to pay them. That's a whole nother story. But there are labels out there, and they are the same as distributors. They will fight for you. They will, you know, work on your behalf. There's a pretty good list here of label distributors, and label distributors will do their job. Like, they're the label. You are protected under them. They will fight to get you your stuff. They will make sure no one's stealing your stuff. Another side note on samples. Let's say you use a sample, which I've already told you plenty of times not to do. So if you're using a sample at this point, you're not listening to what I'm saying. But let's say you use a sample and you sampled a track from a label artist. Let's say someone from The Orchid. I'm going to use The Orchid as an example because I've heard plenty stories about them. Okay, so The Orchid, Orchard, whichever. The Orchard, I always say Orchid. I don't know why. The Orchard will attack you legally. So if they even get a hint that you're using something similar to one of their artists, you will get served with a court notice. They will take you to court immediately with a lawsuit because they're doing their job. Now, to you, that may come off as offensive. It's like, whoa, I'm not trying to steal your artist's music. That wasn't my intent. Like, I just heard something I liked and I wanted to make a song off of it. It inspired me. You have to get permission from that artist. You have to. Because you never know who they're with. And if they're with a label, that label will come at you legally real quick. Because they're not going to have you making money off one of their artists for free, to where you could possibly start stealing their royalties, which means you're taking money away from the label. You see where this is going? So always make sure that you're not using samples. And that if you do want to use samples, number 2, get permission. Make sure of that. Make sure of that. I can't stress that enough. But these labels will go to bat for you. The Orchard, I don't know why I keep saying Orchid. The Orchard is a very good label if you want your stuff protected. They're very good. But labels are very difficult to get into. They're not like distributors, where artists distributors, which also work for musicians and songwriters and composers, these guys usually have a small fee. They're open to everybody. They're free. Labels, you have to prove that you're worth them. You're worth doing business with, is what I'm trying to say. You have to prove it, and you have to be well known. You know, it's really hard to get with a label. Even myself, I have a hard time getting in with a label. There are a couple labels that I've wanted to get in with, just because like my music can be used with their partners, and my music is similar to their partners or what their partners are looking for. But unless you have a particular number of followers, or sometimes you have to have been in the industry for so long, or There are different varieties, different restrictions that each one has. And you just got to do your research. I think it was Idol. It might have been Idol that I've been wanting to get with for years. Idol and Denmark, AWOL, they work with people like me who make my type of music. And I believe it was Idol. Where one of their artists, their music was put into the Division 2 video game. And I was like, holy crap. I didn't know they worked with a video game company. So, do your research. This list is here. This link will be in the comments, so you can click on it. You can look it up. You can look through these people, and then you have, last but not least, you have delivery platforms. So as you'll see, a lot of the labels are here. Delivery platforms are platforms that get your music out there. Like, let's say you're a person that makes instrumentals, and this is going to speak to a lot of people. If you're a person that makes instrumentals, you want to be with a delivery platformer. Delivery platformers will get your music into libraries. They'll get your music into video games, music, TV, movies, etc. Like whenever, let's say, Netflix needs a cover of a song that is popular, but they don't want to pay for the original song. They want to pay the person who did a nice cover that fits their show or their movie. They go to these people. That's what happens. So getting in with a delivery platform is a good way to get your music syncs. For TV shows, music, movies, video games, etc., being placed in playlists for like restaurants and stuff like that. That's what they do. I mean, they do more than that, but that's what their focus is, to get you out there, because if you're making money, they're making money. That's the way business works. So that is pretty much it. But like I said, keep in mind, you want to keep in contact with your distributors and the people that you're doing business with. You want to ask them questions. These are the people who are legally representing you. These are your, for lack of better words, these are your lawyers. These are your law firms that you are going to for service, for protection, for information. Yes, you have to look up a lot of the information yourself, and don't be afraid to look up information. Don't be afraid to ask questions. But when it comes to legal services, they are the people that are there to help you, So don't think that, oh, I uploaded a track and it got rejected. Oh, my world is over. I can't fix it. Oh, something's wrong. And then you never ask them what's wrong. And you freak out and you're like, I guess music isn't for me. It's not that simple. Music is not that simple. If music was that simple, then we'd all be rich. Like literally, we'd all be rich. So music is not that simple. And when you're getting into music as a business, music as a profit, and you take it beyond a hobby, making music as a hobby is making music and just listening to it. You made a track and you're like, man, I like this. This is nice. You put on your headphones, you're out there on the bus or driving around or walking, you're at work, you're working out or whatever, doing your exercises, and you got the music that you made and you're like, man, this is nice. You made it. And then one of your friends tells you, man, you should release this on Spotify. I would love to listen to it on Spotify. Other people would like this music. You're no longer doing it as a hobby. That's now a profession. Once you start trying to release your music on Spotify, you have moved from hobby to profession. Don't try to mix the two, because that's where stress comes out. If you want to make that jump into professionalism, and I'll do a separate video on this. But if you want to move from hobby to profession, you need to do your research, because there are a lot of rules, restrictions, and guidelines that go into releasing music officially. and you need to be prepared for that, you know. So that's it, music notes. I will see y'all later. I hope this video helped you out. I hope it answered some questions for you. I hope that you got some good knowledge from this video. And if you got like some worth out of it, remember to like, comment, subscribe. Feel free to ask questions. Be sure to check my other videos, because I'm pretty sure if you have a question, it's already been answered in another video. I have a whole playlist on this channel for people getting into the music industry, people making music, people trying to find a distributor, people trying to get their stuff out there. And like I said, I've already done it. I prefer CD Baby if you have the money. If you don't have the money for releases, there are free options out there, but keep in mind that a free distributor is still a legal backer. So you still have to get permissions from them. They're still representing you. There are still exchanges that need to go. There are still contracts that need to be signed. You know, so stay up on your information and don't be afraid to ask them questions. Just because they're a free service doesn't mean they're going to take your music and run off with it and it's going to be everywhere. You're going to blow up overnight. No, you need to know what you're doing, and you need to know what you're giving them, and you need to know what their expectations are. All right? With that, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.